Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now there's going to be an album review today where I'm going to be looking at Pink Floyd's album Meddle. So in this video I will show you my vinyl copy of the album and also go over all the album's tracks in detail as well. Now I know there's only about 6 songs on here, but I'll still say say a little bit about each track. But anyway, this was the band's 6th studio released on the 30th of October in 1971. For me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Pink Floyd between when Sid Barrett left and this album here. Like they always like those albums from that time, like Sourceful Sequence, Montgomery and Heart Mother, they always seem like they're like trying to find themselves. But I do feel that with this album, they finally hit they found like that magic spark, and like it really was a fantastic album. This so that's when they were coming to make this album. They didn't actually have that much of an idea of what they were going to do. It started off as a series of experimental tracks, just like little like sketches of sounds what they liked. It then evolved into having all the band members recording at the same time, but doing like their own thing on like the one track, but with a agreed chord structure or like mood, but like they would be recording it separately, and like those sessions were mostly like unproductive, and like they really didn't like get like much done. But part of like those sessions though did form the basis of probably the centerpiece of this album, the track Echoes. What I love about this album, and like that song like in particular, is like it's a whole band effort. I mean, like certainly Beyond Dark Side of the Moon is very Roger Waters like orientated like the albums, but certainly this one here is probably the most album like where they were working together like as a band to make it. When it was released, it got a very good critical reception, also done commercially well in like the UK, reaching number 3, but in America only got to number 70. Pink Floyd really were like unknown like in like America right up until Dark Side of the Moon, but this album did become double platinum like in the US, like as their popularity grew, but only reached number 70 when it was released. I'll now show you the vinyl here. Now I do really like the album cover. The band members aren't keen on it, and like also like the designer like of it as well, Storm Thorgerson, who was like the boss of like the design group Hypnostics. He really dislikes this cover here. Some say that it looks like a camel there, so that's like the camel's head, and like that's the back of it, but it is an ear. I think most people know that. If like you fold it out there, you see a big ear, and it's supposed to be like underwater, which I presume it is like a real photograph. Like I do love this art, and like I do love like the album cover actually. The gatefold to it here is really nice. Band photo here. This was apparently the last Pink Floyd band photo, right up until a momentary lapse of reason, which like by that point it was only David Gilmour and Nick Mason remaining in the band. The vinyl here, this is I think this is an original British on the EMI Harvest label, which is really nice there. Lovely yellow Harvest label there. And the other thing I was just going to point out with this as well was the texture to the cover is kind of strange. I mean, like I think like this was sort of standard for Harvest release, because I also have a copy of ELO's first album up there, but was on EMI Harvest, and it has a very sort of similar textured cover, which I do like a lot. So I now go over all the album's tracks. So the album opens up with the song One of These Days, and I love this song. It starts off quite quiet and like mysterious start to it, and like you get like this sort of bass line going on, like there's actually a double tracked bass, played by both Roger Waters and David Gilmour. They're kind of like running like both basses through like an echo effect pedal thing that they had in like the studio. Really interesting futuristic sound, builds the tension up nicely, and then like after about 2 minutes of like all like these bass going on, you get Nick Mason actually saying the line, "One of these days I'm going to cut you into little pieces," is like what he says again. Like this really like funny voice. I think like must have like played with tape to get it to sound like that. And then the drums just kick in, and it's really fantastic song. I think has to be one of my favourite instrumental tracks of all time. It's just brilliant. Sleepy time in my life, with my love. Then we get a track called "A Pillow of Winds," and this is a very, very different sound for Pink Floyd. It's quite a peaceful song, really nice acoustic, almost like a love song, like a romantic kind of mood. I really like it a lot, just because it's so different from Pink Floyd and like not what like we're used to for like their usual sound. Then we get the track "Fearless." This is kind of similar to like the previous song, that is like quite that's quite like acoustic, like orientated, quite mellow and like laid back. But this one here though is like a little bit more memorable. Like you can actually the actual chorus and the guitar riff. I mean, like it does get stuck in your head. It's quite like a catchy song almost. Nice lyrics on this. So the lyrics by Roger Waters about sort of like being brave and like not really caring about like the consequences of like doing things, just like doing them and being like your own man. It's great lyrics. Could be many do interpret them to be about Syd Barrett, especially at the line, I think it's "Fearlessly the idiot faced the crowd." I mean, like that one sort of describing like his state at like the end of his time with Pink Floyd. And interesting thing with this though is it actually ends with what sounds like a football crowd. Well, it was a football crowd, like of Liverpool football fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." Not too sure why that's on like the song. I mean, like again, some people could be like I could say that that's like a message like to Syd Barrett, like that kind of like reassuring message. But for me, like it doesn't really fit the song, and it kind of lets it down a little bit. I mean, like I think I would love this song a lot more if it didn't have like that chant on like at the end of it. But it's still fantastic though. As I reach for a peach, slide a ride down behind. Next track up is called "Tropez," and this is a Roger Waters song. He sings it, plays guitar in it, does like it's his song basically, and it is pretty good. Basically like written about like the band's visit to like the south of France. Quite light-hearted and sort of fun, jazzy pop song. Again, quite different to like a lot of like Pink Floyd stuff, but again, it's not one of like their finest tracks, but still a good song. And then the closing track on side 1 is called "Seabus," and I think that's how you say it. And this is the weak link on the album for me. It is the only song that I have to skip. I just don't like it at all. It's a kind of sort of bluesy parody song, but it features a dog howling all the way through it. I mean, like it's only about like 2 minutes long, but still, it just like isn't needed. Like on the album. They could definitely do without it. Often ranks as Pink Floyd's worst song, and I can kind of see why, because it isn't very good. I mean, like the actual but the idea though of having like animals, like using sound effects and like unconventional instruments of that music was like later sort of like revisited on like the album Animals. So it actually does feature a song "Dogs" on it, but that's just in like another league to like this that does like throwaway song what does pretty much nothing for me. And then we arrive at probably the album's centerpiece, is the track "Echoes," and this is just a masterpiece. I'm going to say it right now. It is one of my favourite Pink Floyd songs. It takes up the whole of the second side of this record, and although it is 23 minutes, it just doesn't drag on. It is just a wonderfully masterful crafted song, kind of similar to what like, they were trying to do with like Atom Heart Mother, which is which just have like a whole side of an album like as one continuous piece of music, but this just that just blows Atom Heart Mother like out of the water. It's so much better. Each little section is like really interesting. Sort of starts off with like quite a soft like introduction with like there's a piano sound in it, and like that what was Richard Wright's piano recorded through a Leslie cabinet for like an organ. Sounds really futuristic and cool. Then like you have like the wonderful lyrics coming in, and like the beautiful like harmonized vocals between David Gilmour and Richard Wright, and then like the wonderful guitar and keyboard like interlude where they're just playing off like one another, sort of building up. I just love that section. That's probably like my favorite bit of like the song. And then it's sort of the whole like musical like aspect of it, like in like the middle dies down, and then we have sort of like loads of strange sound effects, kind of like confuse the middle bit, but it works. And then the song comes back in, and like we get like the main like melody line of like the lyrics coming in, the wonderful guitar licks what like are going on. It's just fantastic. Certainly one of like Pink Floyd's best songs, and yeah, it is a masterpiece. So I hope you have enjoyed this this rather short review for me of Pink Floyd's album Meddle. For me, this is a masterpiece, and it was very much the point when Pink Floyd sort of found themselves, and like they had that was for me for like before this, like ever since Sid Barrett left, they were always like trying to find themselves, like find their sound. But with this album, though, they did like find that magic, and it is kind of similar to like to Atom Heart Mother, like in like a structure featuring like one song what sort of takes up like the whole of like a side of the record, and then like other tracks as well. However, for me, this is just much better than Atom Heart Mother. The song Echoes just by itself makes this album a 10 out of 10. The other tracks are almost just like bonus tracks, really, but they do really work. I think like some of them, I mean, Fearless and like One of These Days, like in particular, really do stand up as like being like among Pink Floyd's best songs. And like this also that set the scene for like the later direction like the band were going, like albums like Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, I don't think would have got I don't think like that would have got made like had it not been for this album. This would be I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because it isn't perfect, and because it does feature that song C-Mus, which is the worst track probably, and that could also maybe a couple of like the other ones, like side one, although they're very pleasant tracks, they don't they're not like revolutionary or like among Pink Floyd's best greatest work. So it would have to be a 9 out of 10 for Meddle. So I hope you have enjoyed this review, please leave in the comments what you think of this album, and also please like the video, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.